Elections in Nigeria are platforms for chosen leaders and representatives that oversees the affairs of the country. Revisiting the parliamentary elections held in Nigeria on 12 December 1959, the result was a victory for the Northern People's Congress, which won 134 of the 312 seats in the House of Representatives, despite the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, an action group receiving more votes. It formed a coalition with five other parties and two independents, holding a total of 140 seats as voter turnout was 79.5%. Aside from pros and cons, accompanied with elections in Nigeria, the Federal Republic of Nigeria has a multi-party system and about 19 political parties and the International National Electoral Commission, responsible for the conduct of free, fair and credible elections. Dr. Adetunji Ogunyemi, policy expert and associate, professor of economics history, Obafemi Awolowo University, Ife, highlights some of the key challenges facing the electoral process in Nigeria.
For the next 4 years or 8 years or thereabout, he is not likely to be within the power equation of the country. The tendency is for him to want to do it at all costs, to put in all kinds of violence to be able to get up on the electoral seat. But apart from that, we have grown and succeeded in improving with respect to our electoral laws. In Nigeria today, we have the Bimodal Voter Accreditation System, BVAS, which has actually cancelled the possibility of anybody wanting to benefit from electoral thuggery, if you like, all kinds of violence as a sort of voter card snatching, uh, ballot papers stashing or stuffing, and all manners of illegality relating to bribery and corruption and impersonation in the polling booths. The message for this country is we should keep on doing what we are doing well already, which is stick to our democratic system. Never toy with the idea of inviting the military rule, because military rule has not shown any evidence to be better than democratic rule in this country. And then the third is that leadership should be with character. Can we please have leadership character? Because leadership without character actually ruins a country and ruins its opportunities.
Also, member of the House of Representatives, Adebayo Balogun, pointed out some of the issues relating to the safety of voters and electorate as well as integrity of electoral process.
Electoral Act that we have in place in Nigeria today, it is actually getting better because we've been able to fashion out means of reducing electoral fraud. Number one is the issue of voting by proxy, and which has actually been reduced due to the use of BVAS and other electronic devices. So we've been able to move from the manual system, actually now graduated to the more complicated and electronic system. So I can actually say that, yes, we've actually evolved in our electoral process.
As to whether elections in Nigeria could be considered a success, Executive Director, Gender Advocacy Group, Adara Sidney Jack and Moses Paul, author of Nigeria Dreams, says election in Nigeria remains a progress.
Dealing with violence at election. We are also very well funded, and I'm sure because of the security involved, and I do not blame the institutions, of reporting post events. And I believe that when we do breaking news when they are breaking, when we do timeliness in terms of our reportage, and then they are factual, we reduce the sensationalism on social media, carrying stories and defining what it means in the political space. So I say the citizens, I say the security officials, and I also say the media. And again, the executive should begin to understand that politics is not a do or die affair. The politicians should understand it is not a do or die affair. It is not worth the blood of any citizen. If you run an election and you lost, you go to run another day. You do not orchestrate violence to steal ballot boxes, to get people killed, and to manipulate the election. And I think that's where I would stand.
With the rise in data, with the increase in participation, I think we're moving forward, in the right direction as a nation, considering what has happened in the 2023 general election, with more people now becoming aware of they're becoming aware of what happens. They are holding our institutions accountable. They are holding government accountable, for whatever happens. That's a lot of progress being made, in the electoral process in Nigeria. And I believe that even with the 2023 general elections, there's going to be more accountability, more reforms, in the electoral process as never seen before because of the awareness that is already created.
The returning Electoral Commission for Benue State, Professor Samuel Ego, and Emmanuel Ekoli, founder, Exo Trust, said Nigeria's electoral process has made significant progress in recent years, stressing that the country has held several free and fair elections.
Coming to the Fourth Republic, I think we have made a lot of progress. We made a lot of progress in the sense that if you look at elections that were conducted after the 2007 election that was generally acknowledged as the most flawed, the most discredited, those elections have improved in terms of the level of credibility, the level of fairness. And this is to the extent that you are relying on the opinion expressed by both domestic and international observers. And I'm talking about the 2011 elections that was conducted under Jega. Remember also that the period between 2007 and 2011, when we conducted that election under the leadership of Jega, a lot of things had transpired, including the admission by the then president, Yaradua, that the process that brought him in was badly discredited, and therefore decided to set up an electoral reform committee which galvanized a movement of all Nigerians for electoral reform. And a lot of things were done, in terms of, making INEC more structurally independent, in terms of funding regime. And so since then, I think our elections are improving with integrity. We have seen increasingly where losers are congratulating winners and accepting that they genuinely lost.
Only do things that affect the people that have voted for me positively, and then the other persons I'm not interested. It means you are not patriotic to Nigeria, and you are doing the service to Nigeria, and you are not even worth being there in the first place to represent people. Because if you have no value to people, you are useless. That's just life. So the political parties should also be inclusive. In the last election, how many persons? Yes, it was improvement of previous, but it was not good enough. How many women were part of the electoral process? Persons with disability, were they given a chance? These things should be taken into consideration. Young persons, how many young persons? We talk about inclusion verbally, but during this process, a lot of young persons came out this time to be part of the process. They were pushed out for the already known persons to come out.
Overall, the history of elections in Nigeria has been marked by both progress and challenges. While there have been instances of vote rigging and electoral fraud, as well as violence and intimidation, there have also been significant efforts to address these issues and improve the electoral process, which in turn has contributed to the strengthening of democracy in the country.